Time to play the game!
Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about a new keyword, something we haven't seen yet, enum. Be careful, enums are something a bit particular. It'll allow you to set words instead of having numbers. Enums are a bit like ints, actually, but we generally use those to make lists. It'll help you know where you stand in your code. For example, if you have values that mean certain things such as error 1, error 2, error 3, one of them is a seg fault, the other is, I don't know. You need the name of errors generally to do so, to avoid having to use defines one on top of each other, or you're not sure you haven't used the same define twice with the same number, so that something happens during compiling and that will allow you to generate a set of digits. You'll see what I mean. I think an example would be quite appropriate here. Declaring enums is a bit like declaring structures. You have to write enum followed by its name. Let's call it e_list. Always followed by a semicolon because it's something that happens during compiling, so we need to define what we're doing. Just like structures, we can write enum e_list and say it exists, but that's not very helpful, and here's how it works. I'm going to define a value of 1, a value of 2, a value of 3, etc. So let's call them val1 with a comma, val2, comma, and val3, comma, etc. Now I can create objects of type e_list, exactly like structures. And I have my variable a of type e_list, and I'm going to give a the value val1. Now, that there's one crappy thing about enums in C. All of a sudden, val1, which was part of the enum e_list, but now it's become sort of some keyword, meaning val1 is worth 0, val2 is worth 1, and val3 is worth 2. Basically, it increases numbers from 0. For example, you could write that val1 is worth 4, and that val2 will be worth 5, and val3 is 6. You could also write that val1 is worth 4, val2 is worth 7, and therefore val3 should be worth 8, normally. Let's check it out. So here, if I write val3 and here the value of my main's return, I'm going to use a small trick to avoid having to show you functions. First, let's see if it compiles. It does. Let's execute A, and then I'll do an echo $? To get the last executable's return value. And here we can see that it's 8. So val3 is indeed worth 8. So that's about all you need to know about enums. Normally you shouldn't be able to set the same value twice. For example, if you say val1 equals 7 and val3 equals 7, I think you're going to have a problem, but I'm not so sure, because it could let you do it. Depending on versions, it lets you set the values you want. The advantage is that it will just keep listing. As soon as you add a variable, it will increase by 1 each time, and that's the true advantage of enums. Careful, the issue with enums is that all the names you're going to use here become names usable without having to write e_list. So it's risky, dangerous, but there are cases in which that's exploitable. Usually, when people set variable names like this, they have fun rereading their enums names in front of their variable names. So, for example, we could write e_list val1, etc. As simple as this. We could also add type defs before, if you want, but that's not very useful. Because this e_list I just used to declare A, but I could have used an int, it would have been the same. Be careful if you have two different enums and try and add them together, certain compilation options will cause errors. Just to show you there's a difference between both enums.